Howdy, folks. Welcome to Hook Work. You know the goal. Very simple. I'm going to say it every time. Our goal is to help you catch more and bigger fish through proper hook selection. And what you'll notice with Hook Work, it's evolving, and it's a lot of fish talk. And I'm super stoked about it. We're having so much fun. We hope you are too. And like all recent Hook Work episodes, we're bringing in a friend. He needs no introduction. Stefan, bring him on in. We have Mr. Jason Christie again. Jason, how's it going?
Going great. Great. Weather's beautiful. It's summertime. The fishing season is I love fishing, but it's starting to get manageable fishing 2 tours. So, yeah, it's great. How's things in Denver? You guys still got snow?
No, finally, no. Finally, no. Recently we were talking about frog fishing, and it's about that time out here, which is fantastic. But in light of summertime, you kind of got 2 schools of thought. You got fish that push up shallow. You got fish that go out deep. When they push up shallow, they get into the stuff. You have such a legendary career, and a lot of that is flipping. Give folks some juice when it comes to flipping. How can they catch more fish flipping?
So talking about flipping, that's something that I remember as a kid. I remember a fish catch that got me hooked on fishing. I went with my uncle, back then when I was 10 or 11, you casted a beetle spin, you casted a sassy shad, things like that. And I went fishing with my uncle, and we're fishing some water wheel, and he literally flips into this water wheel. It gets a bite 15 feet from the boat, jerks this fish out of the water all the way over the boat. I think the fish is still flying to this day. And I went that night and bought me a flipping stick, and I fell in love with it because it was, it was hand-to-hand combat with them, and I love it. And, whenever you start talking about it, flipping, this is always the analogy that I use. The reason that flipping has been so good for so long is just the reaction. You got to imagine that a fish is set, we'll use a bush or a log. He's sitting under a log, and he's sitting there minding his own business. He's resting, and something drops over his head. It's just like me. I used to live in a house that the red wasp would sneak in every now and then, and I would be sitting in my recliner, and a red wasp would fall because the fireplace was right above me. A red wasp would fall, and I would just go to swatting, go crazy. That's what flipping is. You're dropping it on them, and flipping is a reaction bite 99% of the time. But if you're flipping, you cannot be scared to go to the heart of whatever you're flipping. A bush, a dock, whatever, because a lot of times, especially big fish want to own that piece of cover. They're going to get right in the center of it in most cases. And if he's sitting in the center of a bush and you drop it to the edge, that red wasp didn't fall on his head. It flew out there where he could see it. And he has to make a choice to go get it. If you drop it on his head, he's either got to eat it or he's got to get out of the way, one or the other. And most times they're going to eat it. So don't be scared to go to the heart of it. Make sure you have the right equipment. Flipping is you have to have the right equipment to be effective, from rod, reel, line, hook, bait, everything, presentation. You have to have all of those right to be effective. You can catch fish. Yeah, you can catch fish on other things, maybe not the best line, maybe not the best hook, maybe not the right rod, but you're going to lose a lot of fish flipping if you're not using the right stuff.
Yeah, again, I love your analogies, and the whole time I'm thinking about it when you have the wasp analogy. Bass don't have hands. You know what I mean? So it makes perfect sense. So talking about let's talk about a brush pile. So you talk about getting into the heart of it. How many flips are you making into a brush pile, attempting to get at the heart before you move on to the next one? I'm sure a part of it's feel, but do you have some kind of rhythm where it's like, I'm going to hit it from 3 different angles and I move, or is it all feel?
Yeah, it kind of depends on how big the object is, and most of all, how clear the water is. If I'm flipping a bush that's let's say it's 6 foot wide, and the water's clear, you don't need to make multiple flips to that bush, because when that bait goes in there, he's going to see it, or he's going to feel the bait. Now, if the water's dirty, then I may go, left side, heart, right side, just depending on how dirty the water is. And whenever you're flipping, let's just say bushes or willows or anything, you have two choices. You can be the guy that goes every 6 inches flipping and probably pick up a few extra bites by going slow, or you can be the guy with, this is my fishing personality, I'm going to fish twice as many bushes as the previous guy that we just talked about. So I'm going to put my bait in front of a lot more fish, I feel, and that's the way that I like to fish, because I feel like if he's in there, he's going to bite. I don't have time to mess with him. So my thing is the most flips in the day. I want to fish 2,000 bushes. I'd rather make one flip in 2,000 bushes as I would 3 flips in 800 bushes or 700 bushes, however the math works out.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to think of how to word this properly. I feel like I'm becoming a better tournament angler through hook work. The only thing that sucks is all my buddies watch hook work too, so they're learning the same stuff that I fish against. But it definitely makes sense. What baits? I'm sure you have a plethora of baits, but what's your go-to setup when it comes to flipping? Starting with the bait, the hook, the weight, the line, the rod, the reel, the whole shebang.
Yeah, so I like a jig anytime the water's below 60. I mean, below 60, and people are like, well, it's below 60. Why would you be flipping and not throwing a jerk bait? Let me tell you something. I have caught some of the biggest bags I've ever caught have been with water in the 40s, low 50s, flipping. Especially where I live, and I think it's the same all around the country. These great big ones, they like to get up there shallow in the winter. But I like a jig below 60 or before they spawn. Once they start spawning, I tend to kind of switch to plastics unless we're on like a river system that's dirty, or there's a lot of current, or if I'm just if I'm getting a lot of bites, and I don't want to get as many bites, I want to try to catch bigger ones, I'll stay with the jig. But once they spawn, I switch to soft plastic, and there's a couple, I pretty much limit it between, like a creature bait. There's a Christie critter, it's just a small creature bait. A tube, I'm kind of getting back into the tube thing, and we need to talk about, that's a big thing around us. The tube and the right hook. So that, a tube, and then a woolly bug or a beaver style bait. Those are really the three. Those are the three that I use. I don't know that I use much else.
So efficiency is paramount. You're not deciphering between this color flake and that color flake. Your deal is get the general color, move water, cover more water than the next 5 anglers combined. Now you hit something there with the tube jig. I know that a lot of folks really, really struggle with the bite to hookup ratio on a tube jig. How do you remedy that when you're flipping?
So I wish I'd have brought one in here, but you can picture this. It happened. The light clicked on at. Let me back up. I was fishing an event once, and it was tough to get a bite. Like a limit was good, and I was getting a lot of bites. It was on Lake Eufaula, Alabama, and I caught my first one, and I lost 8 in a row. 8 in like 2 hours. I'm talking 3 to 4 pounders, 5 pounders, and stuff like that. And I literally cut the line on the tube, threw the tube in the bottom of the boat, and I went years without using a tube again. And that's what has kind of happened, and that was the trend that time of year. Is like, why are you lose so many fish? Well, everybody wanted to use like a EKG kind of style hook, a wide gap, offset hook, where that tube set in there perfect. And what happens is when they bite it, your hook point is lined up with your line tie. And there's nothing, like, he has to get it just right. So we were in Florida, this is fast forward to the story I tell you where it clicked. We were in Florida once, and I was flipping Kissimmee grass with I don't even remember what it was, but I had a TK 130 on and just a straight shank. And I was like, I wonder if they'll buy the tube. And laziness of sitting down and tying an offset on, I was like, I'll just put it on the straight shank. Son, it's now the tube that I use, a young tube, it has ribs on it. Mm-hmm. So it lets me bring the hook point out and stick it in the rib, so it's still weedless, but it's starting, to kind of penetrate. I don't know how it would work with a slick tube, but yeah, just a straight shank. I mean, it's no different than any other soft plastic. And now the tube has become, it's back into my arsenal, and I have a lot of confidence in it. So yeah, if you've lost a lot of fish and you like a tube, just straight shank. Yeah. You may have to play with the hook point a little bit if you use a slick sided tube. But like I said, on mine, we have these little ridges to where it comes out perfect. Like I can bring my hook point outside the tube and stick it in one of those ridges, hammer them.
That's a ton of juice.
Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, and then some. It's one of those things like you're like a bass psychologist, and I love the fact that you're one of those dudes that you always shoot straight. We know exactly what you're thinking. I love that. And these guys here in the behind the camera on this, they know how I feel about EWGs. So I think an EWG is in case of emergency, break the glass to get. I think it's a very, very specific tool for very, very specific baits. It is not a cure-all for all of your soft plastic needs. And hearing you relying on the TK130, a straight shank, it makes a ton of sense to me. And another kind of a bonus and a downside of hookwork is each episode costs me money because now I'm going to have to get some of those young tubes, pair them with the TK130, and get out there and catch some fish. Jason, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time and talking fishing. We hope to do it again soon. Folks, I would break down one or two things that he gave you in this episode to help you catch more and bigger fish. But there's a lot in there, right? This is one of those deals you're going to want to watch it a couple times because you're going to pick up different things each time. I know I'm going to watch it myself. I just said I'm going to watch myself. Very goofy. But we'll catch you guys next time. Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you.